Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video I have my February TBR and let me tell you, it is about time I filmed this video because the more I put it off, the more I keep adding books to the list and it is getting out of hand. If you know me, I am a huge mood reader and I usually make my TBRs quite small, maybe 4, maximum 5 books, so that I can mood read around about those books. However, this month I seem to have accumulated 7 books, well 7 novels plus a novella. So there are 8 titles altogether on my February TBR, which is not good. This is not a typical India TBR, but we shall see. Hopefully it all goes well. It is currently the 5th of February when I am filming this and I'm actually still finishing off books from my January TBR, so we're not starting out great. It is the shortest month of the year and I seem to think that that is the best month to put lots more books on my TBR, but you know, we will deal with it, we will get through it. So yeah, I'm just going to go through all the books that I'm planning to read in February, but before I do that, if you could hit this video with a like, that would be hugely appreciated because it really supports my channel. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe for more bookish content from me. I post new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. So the first book on my February TBR is Battle Royale by Kushun Takami. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I am so sorry if I've got that wrong, but I am reading this because 2 of my good friends, Maddie from Book Browsing Blog and Spoops from Spoopy Hall, have a book club that is all about reading dystopian novels. It is the Burnt Book Project, and this month, well, this bi-monthly, every 2 months basically, they read a book and they have a live show for it. And this is the first one. It is Battle Royale and I am so excited to read it. I've been planning to read it for so long, so this has really just given me the kick up the bum that I needed to finally read it. But this book basically follows a group of high school students, I believe, a class of high school students who are taken to a deserted island and armed with all sorts of weapons and made to fight to the death until there is only one survivor. And I believe the Hunger Games very much took inspiration from this book, but this one is supposed to be a lot more violent, a lot more adult, so I'm really excited to read it and see what I think. I mean, the cover kind of shows you it's not going to be the happiest time, but it is going to be exciting, so I'm really excited to get round to this one. I've heard amazing things. I know that Spoops loves it. I did not realise how chunky it was. It is over 600 pages and I don't know why, I always thought it was smaller than that. I thought it was like half of that. So we'll see how I get on. I think there are a few books on here that are quite chunky, which is even more silly considering I have put so many books on my TBR this month. And I know this won't seem like a big amount to some people, but to me it is, because like I said, I like to mood read around about a small TBR. But anyway, very excited to get around to this one when I do. The next book on my February TBR is Jade City by Fonda Lee. I am so excited to read this. I got this one for my Christmas. It's actually one of the ones that I bought myself with my Christmas money, and I am planning on buddy reading this with Katerina from Bambina Katerina. We both realised that we really wanted to read this book ASAP. I think it was on someone's live reading sprints we decided we both wanted to read it, so we decided to buddy read it in the month of February, and I'm so excited to read it with her and share our thoughts. But I will read the blurb for this one. So, Jade is the lifeblood of the city of Janloon, a stone that enhances a warrior's natural strength and speed. It is mined, traded, stolen and killed, for all controlled by 2 families equal in their power and ruthlessness. When a modern drug emerges that allows anyone, even foreigners, to wield jade, simmering tension between the 2 clans erupts into open war. This one sounds so interesting, so exciting. I have heard amazing things about it. I know there's also a sequel called Jade War, I believe, and I think it's red. And I just really want to read this one so I can get onto the sequel as well. So I am buzzing to read it, and I'm buzzing to read it with Katerina as well. As you'll know if you've watched my channel recently, I am really getting into fantasy again, and this sounds like a super interesting one with a really interesting world and a different magic system to anything that I've really read before. So very excited for this one. The next book on my February TBR is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. I'm actually reading this one as part of Mel from the Bookish Mel's read along. I will link that down below. Basically, she is doing a read along in which you read the original Grimm's fairy tale, which I have a anthology of. I always forget the word for like a group of stories. They're all collected as a collection of the Grimm's fairy tales, and she is reading each month one of the fairy tales and then also reading a retelling of it and doing a live show each month with different YouTubers to talk about the 2, compare them and talk about whether you like the retelling or the original, all that jazz. So this month's one is The Tale of Rumpelstiltskin and the retelling is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. And I know nothing about this really. I have heard amazing things but I have not read it yet. I actually just bought it for this read along. I know the story kind of Rumpelstiltskin, but only through the TV show Once Upon a Time. So I'm really excited to read the original fairy tale and see the retelling in this and see how that differs. But this one basically follows Miriam, who's the daughter of her village's moneylender. But poverty beckons as her father is too kind-hearted to collect his debts. Then Miriam hardens her own heart and takes up his work. Her success creates rumours she can turn silver into gold, which attract the fairy king of winter himself. He sets her an impossible challenge, and if she fails, she dies. Yet if she triumphs, a fate worse than death awaits. Irina's father schemes to wed her to the Tsar. However, their dashing ruler hides a terrible secret, threatening immortals and winter alike. Torn between deadly choices, Miriam and Irina embark on a quest. It's one that will encompass sacrifice, power, and even love. This sounds incredibly interesting. We know I love a fantasy with strong female characters, and that is what this one seems to have. And yeah, I'm just really interested to see how the retelling is done, how it is shaped, how it is used. I love a retelling, I'm sure I've mentioned that before. Any sort of fairy tale retellings I find super interesting to see how people change them and what sort of different points they make by using them. So yeah, really excited for that. I'm really excited to take part in Mel's live show. Like I said, I will link all the information for that down below. The next book on my February TBR is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I have heard nothing but amazing things about this whole series. I know the fourth one, I think, just came out, The Mask Falling. And everyone is raving about it, so I need to get round to the first one. My friend Rachel from Rachel Keris is pushing me to read this one because she's pushing everyone to read it because she loves it so much. So I'm dying to read this and read the sequels as well. I found out on a live show last night, I think it was, that this is going to be a 7-book series. So I need to catch up before the rest come. Although there are currently 4 and I don't think the 5th one comes out for another couple of years, so I'm also kind of on the fence about whether I want to catch up quickly because I'll just have to read them all again because I will forget the story. But anyway, I will read the blurb for this one. For the past 200 years, the Scion government has led an oppressive campaign against unnaturalness in London. Clairvoyance in all its forms has been decreed a criminal offence, and those who practice it viciously punished. Forced underground, a clairvoyant underworld has developed, combating persecution and evading capture. Paige Mahoney, a powerful dreamwalker operating in the Seven Dials district of London, leads a double life, using her unnaturalness illegally while hiding her gift from her father, who works for the Scion regime. I love the sound of this one. Like I said, I'm obsessed with fantasy at the moment. The idea of clairvoyance and the idea of that being made illegal really interests me, to see how they will working around the laws that are in place and still trying to use their powers or whatever. Also just clairvoyance in general really interests me, so it'll be interesting to see that and also how it's used within this setting. I have found out that there is a prequel called The Pale Dreamer, which is a novella which comes before this one, and many people have said to read that one first because it's not a spoiler or anything. It really is a prequel that just really sets up the story and introduces you to the characters. So this one comes with another one. The novella, The Pale Dreamer, will also be on my February TBR, and I aim to read that one first to set up the story, and I think it's quite a quick read. I don't think it's any more than like 80 pages. So I'll get that one on my Kindle. I believe it's only like £2 or something, so I'll read that first and then go straight on to The Bone Season and hopefully enjoy this one as well. The next book on my February TBR is The Wilder Girls. Actually, there's no the. Wilder Girls by Rory Power. This one, again, I got with my Christmas money because I'd heard really good things and I am so excited to read it. This cover, I think, is incredible. It's so artistic and beautiful. But this one says it has been 18 months since the Raxter School for Girls was put under quarantine, since the talks hit and pulled Hetty's life out from under her. It started slow. First the teachers died one by one, then it began to infect the students, turning their bodies strange. Left to fend for themselves on their island home, the girls don't dare wander outside the school's fence, where the toxins made the woods wild and dangerous. As it seeps into everything, they wait for the cure they were promised. But when her best friend Biotz goes missing, Hetty will do anything to find her, even if it means breaking quarantine and braving the horrors that lie outside. And when she does, Hetty learns that there's more to their story, to the Tox and their life at Raxter, than she ever thought possible. It sounds bloody interesting and I'm so excited to read it. I also think it would be interesting to read it in the times that we're in. Obviously it's completely different, but just the idea of quarantine and like a new disease, obviously with COVID going on at the moment, it'd be interesting to see if you can relate to it in any way or if there's any comparisons you can draw. I just think that'd be quite interesting. I have heard recently that people really don't like the ending of this one. I think again it was on a live show someone mentioned this is one of the worst endings of books that they'd read, and that scares me because I was really looking forward to this, and now I'm worried that the ending is not going to be very good. We shall see. I'm going to read it anyway. Hopefully I enjoy the story as a whole. I know that it's supposed to have, obviously it's a thriller, I love a good thriller, and there's a lot about the power of female friendships in here, which again, like I said, strong female characters, women coming together, I am all for that. So hopefully, overall, I will enjoy this one. The next book on my TBR is Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. This one, again, I have heard such good things about. I think it's supposed to be quite like weird and wonderful. I think when I was talking about how much I loved Bunny, which is the strangest book I've ever read in my entire life, but I loved it, a lot of people said Catherine House was kind of similar in its weirdness and its sort of university setting. Again, I love a university setting. So this one says, during your 3 years at Catherine, you will have no contact with those in the outside world. Each of our students has been selected as someone who belongs here. You will give to Catherine and Catherine will give to you. We will not let each other down. Catherine House is a university like no other. Into its celebrated world steps Innes. Or Inez. I don't know if it's Innes or Inez, so please, if you know, comment down below. I will research that, and I should have researched it before I did this video, but Innes or Inez, I'm not sure. But she, a young woman who welcomes the school's isolation rather than its illustrious past. As the gates close and Inez finds herself start to be inevitably seduced by its magnetic power, she begins to realise the question isn't why she chose to come to Catherine House, but why Catherine House chose her. And it says here, a delicious, diverse, genre-bending gothic, as smart as it is spooky. It sounds so good. I kind of wish I'd read it around the Halloween time, but I'm going to read it this month. I love anything gothic. The gothic genre, gothic setting is so interesting and atmospheric to me, and the fact that it's supposed to be kind of spooky and sinister, I am so here for. I can't wait to sort of curl up with this one and get cozy and just like totally get lost in this world. And like I said, I love anything with a school or university setting. This one just sounds so interesting, and even the cover is like kind of hypnotic, and I feel like that's what the book's going to be like as well. So yeah, so excited for this one. The final book on my TBR for this month is one that should not be here, but I had decided what my list was. I'd added other ones that shouldn't have been there, and then I went to the supermarket, and we all know you get good deals for books in supermarkets. And this one I have heard lots of people talking about recently, so when I saw it, I had to pick it up and put it straight on my TBR. And that is Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell. I have not read any Lisa Jewell before. I've heard amazing things about her books. I think she writes a lot of sort of thrillers, and I love a good thriller. I kind of got out of reading thrillers for a while, but I've started reading a lot of them again recently and absolutely loving them. They're the sort of book that I just race through because I need to know what's going to happen. So this one says, you don't see her, but she sees you. Midnight, in an area of urban wasteland where cats hunt and foxes shriek, a girl is watching. When Sapphire Maddox was 10, something terrible happened and she's carried the pain of it ever since. The man she thought was going to heal her didn't, and now she hides, learning his secrets, invisible in the shadows. Owen Pick is invisible too. He's never had a girlfriend, he's never even had a friend. Nobody sees him, nobody cares. But when Sapphire goes missing from opposite his house on Valentine's night, suddenly the world seems to be watching Owen, accusing him, holding him responsible for Sapphire's disappearance. I love the sound of this one. It sounds like such a good gripping thriller that you're going to be just like totally hanging on every page and want to know what happens. The characters themselves sound really interesting, so I want to know more about them. And yeah, I've just heard really good things about this. I've been seeing it everywhere. For anyone who loves a thriller is raving about this one, and also raves about the author in general. So if I do really like this one, I do plan to read more of her books. And also Lucy Foley has commented on it here saying dark, furiously twisty and utterly gripping, and I love Lucy Foley. I mean, I've only read one of her books, but I really enjoyed it and I plan to read the rest. So yes, really excited to get around to this one too. So that is all the books on my fairly ambitious February TBR for me. Not for others, but for me it is ambitious. So yeah, I'm really hoping I can get around to all these books this month. I am so excited for all of them and I really hope I can fit them in. I have been reading quite fast recently, particularly with lots of reading sprints going on. So fingers crossed it goes well. But that is it for my February TBR. So if you did enjoy this video, then do please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe for more bookish content from me. Comment down below with any of your thoughts and feelings, and I shall see you in my next one.